If you'd like to learn how to draw an octopus and have it look a little more like a real one with curvy legs, then you've come to the right place. At first glance, this one may look a little complex, but I promise it's easier than you think when you take it one step at a time. Hi, my name's Kathy, and I've been teaching kids how to draw for over 20 years now. You know, my favorite thing to do is to show students that when you take things one step at a time, learning how to draw just might be easier than you think. The supplies you need for this project are watercolor paper, watercolor paints, a pencil, yellow and white crayon, permanent black marker, brush, and a little water. You may also find a link to a free step-by-step tutorial for this lesson in the description below. This is my friendly reminder that I do like to work with center pencil guidelines on my paper. They're also on all my tutorials, and they really help you plan where to draw. Let's begin with that head shape, which is going to start here and go up to here and then come back down over here. After you have it planned, then connect all of those marks with one long kind of upside down U shape. Next comes the leftmost leg, which is going to go out to here. Begin with a curvy line that looks kind of like this. The same thing happens also on the right for the right leg. Plan its length and then draw a curvy line to the right. Now let's go back to the left side and draw the bottom part of that leg and continue until you get to the center. Go back to the right side and draw the tip of the leg and continue with the bottom line until you meet up back at the center. Next, we can add a leg in the middle. Make marks to plan how wide it will be, and then draw the curvy left side of this leg. Finish that leg by drawing the right side of it with its curvy bends, and when complete, be sure to erase the line inside so it looks like that leg is in front. Now we can add another leg to the right of that middle one. It can curve a little bit more than the others, but still needs to have that line inside it erased too. Another leg is added to the right, kind of centered in the space that's left over. It's pretty curvy too, and also gets its line erased when complete. Okay, just a couple more legs to add. We need a larger one here, and is kind of centered between the others. And it can really bend a lot this time. There's a shorter one that comes down over here and is only partially showing. And the last large leg that's in the background goes here and is behind the others a little bit. Now we can move on to the eyes. Start with a circle on the right of the head and part of one that's on the left. Add smaller circles inside, on the right and the left, and finish with a small dot inside each. We also need to add a bunch of small circles on the legs for those little suction cups that octopus are famous for. We wouldn't see all of them because the legs are turning, but try sprinkling out a dozen or so in the places where you see me adding them here. If you can, try erasing any lines that are inside so you don't accidentally trace them later on. The final details to add are some little bump shapes on the head, which I'm spreading around on the right side. All right, our pencil drawing is done, so it's time to get out that black marker and carefully trace over all of those pencil lines. When the tracing is done, it really helps to take a moment to erase any pencil lines that might still be showing. Before the paint comes out, take that white crayon and draw lots of circles in the water all around the octopus, pressing really hard because we want those circles to show up and look like little white bubbles when we paint over them with the blue watercolor paint. Be sure to add lots of them. You can't have too many. Those octopus eyes are pretty small, so I'm going to use a yellow crayon to fill them in. Now it's time to bring out the paint supplies with the paint tray and water and paintbrush. When it comes to mixing of the paint, I want my octopus to be a light gray, so I'm adding water to my black color and then making a bit of light gray color in my tray. It's really good to test what your color looks like before you put it on your paper. As you can see, I needed to test my paint several times and keep adding a little more water before I was happy with the color. When you do get the color you want, slowly fill in your octopus. A small brush will really help, as you need to carefully go around all those little circles as best you can. The great thing about watercolor paint is that it so easily adds some very good looking shadows just by adding a second layer to places that you want to look a little darker. I'm choosing some spots on the back legs to give them just a little more of a realistic look. Finally, for that watery background, mix up some light blue in your tray. I want to keep mine on the light side, so I'm adding a little extra water and then starting to paint over all of that background. The fun part is you'll see those little bubbles start to pop out. Try to paint slowly and not overlap any of the gray color, and continue working until your paper is all filled. And that is how easy it is to draw and paint a pretty realistic looking octopus. I love how the watercolor paint adds texture not only to the body but to the water as well. When you check out my website, Art Projects for Kids, you'll find more ocean animal projects, including one for a sea turtle and a shark. Over the years, my website has helped millions of kids learn how to draw and paint. I hope you enjoyed this lesson, and if you are watching this on YouTube, please remember to like and subscribe to my channel. That way you'll get a notification whenever I post a new video.